Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Ann Alvarez, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast and YouTube channel. I am super excited today because we have a special guest. Her name is Jennifer Banks. She is the best-selling author, educator, and community leader dedicated to empowering women to rediscover themselves while balancing motherhood. Through her book, Let Yourself Bloom, and her podcast, Jennifer inspires women to embrace growth and reclaim their dreams. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. We all need to rediscover ourselves in motherhood, right? Like
Yeah.
it's so all encompassing. Okay, so I want to know like what brought you on this journey of helping moms to rediscover their identity, and how do you help moms?
Great question. Looking back, you can kind of see the pieces along the way, but I remember being pregnant with my oldest child, and suddenly motherhood was very relevant. I was gaining all the insights and wisdom for what I was going to do on this new journey, this new path. And the main thing I picked up on was that so many women had given themselves fully to motherhood that they didn't know who they were anymore. They had lost their interests, their hobbies, their things that made them themselves and unique. They were either in the empty nester stage and didn't know what to do with themselves, or they were just, in the thick of motherhood, or even just, in all different stages. But the common thread was that they had lost themselves. And so I made a pact right then and there to myself that I wasn't going to lose my identity. I didn't quite know what that looked like, but I just vowed that I was going to stay me throughout motherhood.
Wow, that's really, really great. Like I think a lot of times we just lose ourselves, right? And we just think, okay, well, this is normal. This is the way it's supposed to be. Meanwhile, we're like running on empty and feeling depleted, right? So
Yeah.
how do you help moms? Because like because motherhood, especially the early years, are so encompassing, and you hardly have any energy because you're not sleeping well. Energy, you are tired, and there's so much to do, especially when they're little. So how do you help moms feel let go of this parent guilt? Because this parent guilt is real, right? Like, oh, I should be doing this for my children. What am I doing this? Why am I taking time for myself? Right? How do you let go of that parent guilt?
You are so right, because especially as women, we're kind of just self-sacrificing by nature. We want to give to our children. We want them to have a better life than we had. We want them to have joy and all of the things. But at the same time, it's causing us to lose ourselves. And so we know there's danger in extremes. On the one side is giving everything to your children, and on the other side is giving everything to yourself. So we have to find that balance and kind of redefine balance, because just because you're giving time to yourself doesn't mean you're selfish. It actually means that you're being a better mom, because you're showing up as a more fulfilled, more true version of yourself. Nobody likes to be the mom who yells at their children, who has a short fuse, who, just is bothered by their children. So the more we can fill our cup and drink as we pour, the more we'll show up for our children. And so it's almost a reframe. It feels kind of backwards to say, okay, I'm going to put all this time and energy into me when I already have all these other things on my to-do list. There is so much to do. There's other things that we could use our energy for, but really this will give the best yield for our time and our energy and who we are, because we'll show up as a better version for our children. There's a quote that says, "Only you can give your children a happy and fulfilled mother." And it starts with you. And it just comes over time, because I certainly didn't believe all this at one point. I came to it just little by little, step by step. And it's kind of just, again, a reframe of those beliefs that self-care isn't selfish, and that when you do spend more time on yourself, you are just you're just lighter and you're more free to be the mom that you want to be.
Okay, I love that so much. I was watching a YouTube short on Gabor Mate. He's a local psychiatrist here, and he was saying the best gift that you can give your children is a happy parent. And I just, wow, that just like spoke to me because our kids feel our emotions
Mm.
and
Yeah,
they
you can't
feel,
fake it.
right? Like they feel our stress, they feel our worry, they feel our anxiousness. But if we were happy, they're going to feel our happiness, right? And they're going to feed off of that, and that's going to help them grow to be confident and well adjusted and happy themselves,
That's
right?
so true. And you are worthy of the same love and care you give your children. It's almost as if we take ourselves out of the picture and we kind of just give everything to our children, but we're part of the family table. We're part of the ones who need nurturing, and we have dreams and goals, and we often forget about that. And, in helping our children, which is a worthy cause, but again, it's at the expense of ourselves.
Yes, yes, because you can't give from a depleted well,
Hmm. Yeah,
right? We have to
right.
fill up our tanks, right?
Hmm.
Um, so what advice would you give to moms as they're starting this journey of rediscovering themselves?
I would say start early, start small. Really, as soon as you start to hear these messages, just really start to incorporate it. Even just 5 minutes a day, giving it to yourself, you know, whether it's in the bathroom, taking a bathroom break, or taking a breath of fresh air. Really, it's just important to start, because otherwise we fall into the trap of, oh, I'll worry about me when my kids are in school, or oh, I'll worry about me in a few years, or we just keep putting it off, and then before we know it, the time is gone. A lot of people say to you, oh, your children are only little for so long, but the same is true of you. Your life is passing as your children are growing too. And so I feel like that's an easy trap to fall into, is that your children are only young once, or, it's like you do have a long time with them, and it's not like you're spending every moment on yourself. I put my children in daycare before I had a job just once a week, and that's all I needed, just to really reset and come back and show up as a better mom. And so, really, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of time that you're spending on yourself, too. Like I said, it's not going to the other extreme.
Yeah, I wanna touch on that daycare thing because I did daycare with both of my children. Um, and I had to because I did go back to work, but I just found with my children, like if it's a good daycare, you're gonna get the routine. There's so many benefits, right? You're gonna get the routine. You're gonna get early learning. You're gonna get language development because they're listening to other children and their caregivers. And then you're also gonna get like structure, right? So I don't know. For me personally, I have not seen any bad things because of starting my children early in daycare. And they did start when they were babies, and also then it made me more intentional with my time with them because now I don't see them all day. So when I come home, I want to spend time with them.
For sure.
Um, right?
You bring up very good points, because we don't always have to be the person who meets their needs. Their needs are going to be met. And I think that's where some of the guilt comes in, is we feel that we have to meet every one of their needs. But really, there's other people that can step in and help. And, we're the worst at delegating. But really, you can ask for help and you can get the help. And that's not, a bad thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had Dale the Cure. She's also a parent coach. Um, and she was saying how in her day, 'cause she's a grandma, she's a mother of five and a grandmother of four. She's a busy lady. But she was saying how like we've lost community and having a tribe. And I was saying it's so important for parents to have a community of other parents to give support, to be able to vent, frustrations, and but also just to be together. Our kids are playing together. We get some adult time to talk. It's so helpful, right?
So true. As our communities have developed, we've kind of just become more isolated. We think that we just have to parent mom, dad, child. But really, like you said, we're losing that community where it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to support a parent. And you're right. We've lost that.
Yeah, we need more of that. Okay, do you have any like little tips on how do you carve out time? Like I know you mentioned daycare, but there other ways that moms, probably new moms, I'm going to speak to new moms because parenting in the first 3 years is so overwhelming, right? So so what would you suggest to new moms?
That's great. I feel like that's exactly my sphere too. I'm still in the thick of raising young kids, and that's where you do need the most support because you don't have that break where they're in school or, if you are a full-time stay-at-home mom and those types of things. And so I would just say, almost have to schedule it in like you schedule other things. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, wake up a little bit earlier. If that fits for you, that's great. If you need to sleep, I don't blame you." Uh, there's there's times when I really rely on my spouse to help me. I go to a lot of different social things in the evenings, or I go to a lot of networking events. Fortunately, I do have a strong support system with my mother-in-law and with friends in the neighborhood. We do babysitter swaps. We do, there's a page for just looking for babysitters. And again, yeah, just starting small with not feeling guilty for hiring a babysitter, even though you can't really justify it, but really taking care of yourself is a huge justification. I would say look back on your younger self and see what you used to like to do and just start incorporating that. Whether it's painting and maybe you just get a few strokes in a day or reading a book and you just read a few pages a day. Sometimes we get stuck in the all or nothing mindset. Okay, if I can't spend 5 hours on myself, I'm not doing it, but the little things will add up just like deposits in a bank account over time and it'll yield a greater result. Uh, I had one more thought. Maybe it'll come back to me in a minute, but
I
really
was just asking,
just doing it.
yeah, I love all those suggestions. I was just going to say, I feel like moms need to let go of expectations of themselves and their house. Okay, like I know it's messy when you have kids. You can't it can't be pristine. Like you have to let go of that my house needs to be perfect because it doesn't. What's more important is your happiness, your well-being, and your children's well-being. So let go of that perfectionism in being, your house has to be perfect or you
That's a
have
really
to be,
good one. Yeah, because
right?
you could really spend your whole day and night cleaning and there would still be messes to clean up. So, yeah, just let it be there for a minute. It'll be there when you come back and then just focus on you because that time you won't get back. And some of these things, this is what I was going to say, is they kind of feel like sandpaper in your head, like, oh, I can't spend time on myself. That guilt comes back in,
Yes,
and I have
yes.
spouse guilt sometimes. But the more you reframe, the more you practice with that new belief, the more it'll feel true to you and the more you'll believe it. So that's why it's important to just start is you'll learn over time that, or you'll give yourself permission over time.
Yes, you're giving a gift to your children and your spouse when you feel good.
Yes.
That's the bottom line, right?
Mhm.
When you feel good about you, about your life, then you are going to be giving your best version to your children and your spouse. But when you are depleted, when you don't feel good, it's not your best version, right?
Right.
So we have to really, really hone in, mamas. the self-care. Self-care is crucial. And I was going to say something too about like what I did as a young mom, I remember is um if I was tired, I did take breaks and have a nap. And I would put my boys in front of an educational show or give them some blocks or some toys or whatever, and I'd be like, "Mommy needs a nap." And my boys were really good in that time. And also, I didn't realize that I was modeling self-care. So
Mhm.
now they're 25 and 15, and they both nap when they need it.
So good. And like you said, with expectations, it is okay to do screen time every once in a while when you need a break, or to, like you said, model self-care. And another one I would add too is boundaries. In my book, I talk about how there is a woman who her youngest was going to start kindergarten, and she spent 3 months in bed while he was in school because she just wanted to just soak it up and just not let the moment go by. And she just really wanted to savor, that experience. And I really admired her for that and not just rushing into the next phase of life. Because sometimes we do that too. We just rush from one thing to another and we don't pause and reflect and savor. And so, that's another one I would say is just try to build a little margin in your day or in your week to really just be, because we just hustle and then we forget who we are amidst all that.
Yeah. Yeah. You do what you can, um, what you feel. Don't don't care what anyone else thinks because it's about you feeling good, feeling recharged, right? And then take those moments, like Jen was saying. It doesn't have to be a lot of time.
Mhm.
I remember putting my oldest to bed when he was younger, and I would have a glass of port before bed. That was like my time. I'm like, I'm gonna have my port and enjoy my time, right? Like
Yeah.
little things like that, whatever it is for you that fuels you, that's what you do, right?
Mhm.
And when you feel recharged, it's gonna make a huge difference in the quality of your parenting life. Would
So
you agree?
true.
Do you
Yeah.
agree? Okay.
100%.
That is so good. That is so good. Okay, mamas. So you have to take care of yourselves. All right, I'm just going to do a quick recap about what Jen was talking about. How how she says that like we lose ourselves in parenting because parenting can be so all-consuming. But we can, in baby steps, we can start to rediscover ourselves. And actually rediscovering ourselves makes us better parents. And we can do little things to find our identity again, to remember who we were before we became moms, dads, and start to incorporate a little bit of that back into our lives, whether it's reading, writing, painting, whatever it was that you loved to do, that was part of your identity. And you got to let go of parent guilt because parent guilt actually is not good for your kids or you. Um, Taking time for you is the reframe is you become a better version for that will show up in your family for your spouse and for your children. So it's actually mandatory to take time for you. And yeah, do the baby steps and do what fuels you because you don't have to listen to anyone else. You just have to listen to you, and that's going to help you so much. Hey, Jen, is that great?
That's great. Yeah, I agree.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Tell parents where they can find you and your book.
Yes, I streamlined everything. So my website is letyourselfbloom.com. My podcast is Let Yourself Bloom. And on Instagram, I'm Let Yourself Bloom _ with Jen Banks.
Sounds so good. All right, mamas. If you need a nap, go have a nap. If you
Yes,
need a
and it
walk,
is possible because I am pregnant with my fourth and I'm still doing all of the things that fill me up as well. So
wow, Jen, you're an inspiration. You really are.
you
All
got
right.
this, mamas.
You got this. You got this, mamas. You can do this. All right. Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you, parents. I hope this helped you a lot, especially the new mamas out there. Take care of yourselves. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. I hope it was valuable and that you have some useful tools to use with your children. If this show blessed you or changed you in any way, I would appreciate a review on my podcast, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or perhaps you could even recommend our masterful parenting to your family and friends. Thank you so much, parents.